La bande dessinée is a huge part of French culture. It's very, very, very important as well as other books. And for you as a French learner, it's a very, very nice way to learn French because you can have the words, you have the images, and you can come back if you don't understand everything and be very, very slow if you happen to be just a beginner. Les Vieux Fourneaux is this comic book. It's one I absolutely love, and it's an awesome series that's very, very popular. And the movie just got out recently, so you can even watch it and you can enjoy the story, both in the comic book and in the movie. So, great way to learn French. This is what you will learn with this lesson today. First, you will be familiar with this popular modern French comic series. I love Tintin, I love Asterix, but this one is new and there are even new stories coming soon. And you can talk about it with your French friends or conversation group because the themes are modern and up to date. Second, you will improve and practice your comprehension of real spoken French because today I'm going to present the story all in French and real French. And at last, you will learn at least 3 new slang words in French. You can obviously learn more, but let's focus on 3. This way you will fully understand what they mean, what level of French they are, and you will start noticing them around you, okay? Obviously, if you're up to that, you can learn 10, 15 today, but let's focus on 3 fun slang words. Ready? Just like for all my lessons, you can get the beautiful PDF with the full written lesson on the blog on communefrancaise.com. You can download it for free, just leave your first name and email and you get it straight away. There you get all the vocabulary, the expressions, so you can know how they're written if I go very, very fast in the video. And you get all the links to the resources mentioned here. So especially if you're on YouTube, don't miss that because it's a fantastic learning resource for you and for your friend as well. And it's free, so enjoy it. Bonjour, c'est Géraldine, bienvenue sur Comme une Française. Allez, c'est parti. La bande dessinée. First, let's talk about the format itself and a bit of the characters. So, this is une bande dessinée. Une bande dessinée. As I said, it's a very important part of French culture. Obviously, if you're very picky and you're a specialist, you know that we talk about the French comic books as the French language because Belgium had produced some of the best comic books ever that are now part of the French tradition. So, for example, Tintin is from Belgium, but we call it French just because it's in the French language and it's part of the same culture. So, obviously, French-Belgian comic books are an awesome way to learn French. This one is by Wilfried Lupano and Paul Coe. So, Lupano is the writer and Paul Coe is the drawer, and it's edited by Dargaud, who made lots of other fantastic classic comic books. And this is the first one, and we call this un tome. Un tome is a volume of a BD, and BD stands for bande dessinée, BD for bande dessinée. And there are 4 already now, and there will be a 5th coming up later. I'm filming that in September 2018, and I think the next one will be in November. So check it out if you've already read the first 4 ones, which I have. So, Les Vieux Fourneaux here means, it's Fourneaux, well, vieux means old, but I think you already know that. But Fourneaux, it's an oven, okay? But here, when you look at the character, you're like, what is that about? Well, it's because Fourneaux is an old and familiar way to talk about un vagabond. I don't know how you say that in English, like a miserable person who's very poor, who's just walking from one place to the other. That's un vagabond in French. And I'm going to read you the definition from Le Robert, which is a fantastic French dictionary. It says, vagabond, en parlant des habitués des fourneaux de charité, sorte de soupe populaire. So it means people who are kind of begging and going to the free food stands for the poor. So that's the idea of it. But here, obviously, it doesn't mean that they are poor in itself. It means that they're like a bit of despicable and they're a bit nasty, this kind of thing. They're not that nasty, but that's kind of the idea. They're fun and they're mischievous, probably you say in English. That's the idea of what they do, and we're going to see the characters after that. And when I read Les Vieux Fourneaux, the first thing that comes to my mind, and I have to say this is what I thought it was, but it wasn't, is this expression we have in French that says « C'est dans les vieux pots qu'on fait les meilleures soupes ». C'est dans les vieux pots qu'on fait les meilleures soupes. It means, literally, it means it's in the old pots that you make the best soups, but it means that the older people are wise and clever and they have lots of fantastic inputs to bring, and they're very wise, have good ideas. That's the expression itself. Obviously, literally doesn't mean that, but that's a real meaning, and that's what it means. If you don't have the level to read it in French, because it has lots of slang, so if you're a beginner, maybe it's a bit difficult, it's been translated, and it's available on Kindle, and the title is The Old Geezers. The Old Geezers, okay? So check it out if you can't read it in French, because it's very fun, and also you can watch the movie, but we're going to talk about that later. If you're interested in la bande dessinée in general, especially the French one, because it's a fantastic way to learn, I made other episodes on this topic. So I made one about the classic comic books, such as Tintin and Asterix, which I mentioned at the beginning. These are fantastic. They're a bit old-fashioned, especially for Tintin, so just be careful with the first ones. And I have another one about more modern French comic books that I recommended. And at last, I made an episode about feminist books where I mentioned Pénélope Bagier's work. That's been translated everywhere. It's fantastic. So check out these because they're fantastic resources to learn for you and for your children as well. Let's talk about l'histoire now. L'histoire. As I said, I'm going to present that in French, so bear with me, don't panic. We have subtitles just here, I think. So you can rewind the video if you want to check everything out again. But I'm not going to slow down because that would be fake French, and I absolutely hate fake, slow textbook French. So I'm going to speak like I would to my friends in France or in Grenoble in general. So, l'histoire. C'est l'histoire de trois vieux amis qui se retrouvent pour l'enterrement de Lucette. Lucette, c'est la femme de l'un d'eux qui est ici. Alors, ici, on a trois personnages, donc c'est eux les vieux fourneaux, d'accord ? Donc, les vieux vagabonds qui sont un peu malins, malicieux, revanchards aussi un petit peu. Donc, ici, on a Pierrot. Pierrot, c'est un anarchiste. Pierrot, il aime bien faire des coups contre le gouvernement, contre la loi, contre le système, contre les autoroutes aussi. Il est très rigolo. Et il ne voit pratiquement rien. On dit qu'il est myope comme une taupe. Myope comme une taupe, ça veut dire blind as a bat en anglais. Il ne voit pas grand-chose. Ici, on a Antoine. Antoine, c'était l'époux de Lucette, donc on dit qu'il est veuf. Veuf, c'est un mot important, ça veut dire qu'il a perdu son conjoint. Ici, c'est sa femme Lucette. Et ici, on a Mimile, c'est le surnom de Émile, et c'est un aventurier, charmeur et mystérieux, mais je ne vais pas vous en dire beaucoup plus parce que on découvre dans l'histoire qui il est vraiment. Donc ce sont trois amis qui sont très intéressants, très rigolos, qui se connaissent depuis l'enfance, et il se trouve que Antoine, ici, est le grand-père d'une femme qui s'appelle Sophie, et qu'on découvre dès le début du livre, on va le voir juste après. Voilà, donc c'est les personnages, on découvre leurs amis, leurs histoires un petit peu plus, et dans les 4 tomes existants de la bande dessinée, on en sait plus sur leurs histoires et leurs aventures, et ils sont très intéressants. Comme ce sont on peut dire, des anarchistes, un peu des rebelles, ils ont un vocabulaire assez familier, assez argotique, et c'est pour ça que la bande dessinée est si intéressante pour vous, parce que c'est du vocabulaire qui est un petit peu plus familier et moderne que par exemple dans Tintin. Tintin qui est très bien mais qui garde un vocabulaire et une grammaire vraiment très formelle parce que ça a été écrit il y a très longtemps. It's a fantastic comic book because the story is cool, the characters are really good, the writing is very nice, And you have lots of slang, as I said. So it's a good way to practice your French in terms of real life French, something that you can hear on TV, that you can see in movies and in books, in modern books. And there was one adjective that I wanted to tell you about today on this one is when I went to buy it, I went to the bookshop and I met a friend there that I had not seen for weeks because it was summer holidays. And when she saw that and she learned that I was going to do a video for you about it, she told me, that's very French. And the word that she used is franchouillard. Franchouillard is the kind of slang with ARD at the end, ARD. That's a way to form slang in French. I'm going to do a lesson on that soon. But franchouillard is like the idea of the beret, the baguettes, the bottle of wine, and the stripes. That's franchouillard. It means very French, and it's a slang, very cute way. It's absolutely not vulgar. It's familiar, and it's super cute. So franchouillard absolutely defines this comic book. Now, let's look at the vocabulary of the first pages of the comic book. Because if you browse it on the first pages on Amazon or just buy it, I want to get you on the right track, and we're going to see interesting words in French for you. So I hope we can put the images on the screen so you can see them, and I'm going to start going through the pages with you. First, when we look at the fun bedroom of Pierrot, we can see different posters on the walls, and there's one that we cannot see very well here, but he mentions it a bit later. It's his anarchist group, which is very funny. It's called Sans yeux ni maître, sans yeux ni maître, because we make la liaison, sans yeux ni maître, and it means no eyes, no master, and it comes from the anarchist newspaper and slogan, as we say in French, from 1850. That's sans Dieu ni maître. Sans Dieu ni maître, it means no God and no master. Sans Dieu ni maître, which is something you can read in many, many places in France now. And sans yeux ni maître is because Pierrot is blind as a bat, as I said before. We say myope comme une taupe. And he has an anarchist group with his older friends, and they do fun things, but because they're blind, a bit almost blind and very old, the police doesn't do anything for them, or they might press charges as discriminations against the elderly. So they're absolutely hilarious because they make something out of almost disability and old age, and he's hilarious. So sans yeux ni maître is a play on word, un jeu de mots, as we say in French, un jeu de mots about the slogan, sans Dieu ni maître, okay? Then later I wanted to show you here. When Pierrot comes to pick up Mimile to go to the burial, l'enterrement, he says bain. Bain is, it's not slang in a way, it's familiar French. We take eh bien, and we transform it into bain. And that's what we would say. It's like well, okay? So here he says, ben, Mimile, t'es pas prêt? It means, well, Mimile, you're not ready. That's exactly the intention. And you can hear it everywhere, and that's how we pronounce it, bain. Yes, like a bath in English, un bain. Bain. So then he asks him to hurry. And the word he uses is se manier. And he says, magne-toi. Magne-toi is the verb se manier. Se manier, and it means to dépêcher. Se dépêcher is to hurry. Se dépêcher. Again, this is familiar French. It's not vulgar. Don't use it with a doctor or someone you've never met. If you start hearing it around you, just pick it up and you can start using it with your French friends or in conversations. Again, it's not vulgar. You're not going to offend anyone by saying it, but it's more familiar French. And then he asks about un costard. Un costard, so he can put it on and hurry to put it on. So what is un costard? If you remember before, I talked about franchouillard. franchouillard as a form of slang that is formed with ARD. ARD, A-R-D. And here it's exactly the same. Again, I'm going to do a full lesson on that later this month. Later, because that's the end of September. And here it's exactly the same. Actually, un costard means un costume. Un costume. And we just changed the ending with ARD at the end to make it a slang. And it's an easy way to remember that ARD are very, very often a form of slang. Not all the time, but very often it comes from something else. And this is a familiar way to talk about un costume. Un costume. Un costume is a suit in English. Un costume. Okay. If we want to go a bit further, but that's not mentioned in the comic book, in la bande dessinée, is we have the word un falzar. That's something that I don't want you to remember because you won't use it, but you might hear it around you in movies or something. Un falzar is stands for un pantalon. Un pantalon, un falzar. But this one is not something that we made out of ARD because it just ends with R. And it comes from Greek or Turkish. We're not really sure. I checked in a dictionary, but the dictionary said the origin was unknown. But it's not French slang like un costume and un costard. Okay? So again, don't put that in your French exams, please. Or don't tell them I taught you that. But that's a fun word that goes with un costard. What I love about this comic book as well is the play on words. Because the slang is fun, but that's the easy part. But then they have fun play on words that you can learn from. For example, Maurice lives in a home for the elderly, so they take care of him. And the name of it is Meuricy. Meuricy, it's the way I would pronounce it properly the name, Meuricy. And it's a play on words because when you think about it, it's like meurs ici, which means die here. Meurs ici is literally die here. So it's a very weird name for such a home. And this is why Pierrot tells Mimile at the beginning of the comic book on page 6. Okay, so I will leave it to you to read the comic book if you want. If you can, again, it's available on Amazon.com. It's just been adapted as a movie. It was out on August 2018, I think 22nd. And the movie is just a comic book as a movie. It doesn't bring much more, but for practice, it's very fun. I went to see it, it was 2 days ago. And I liked it because if you like the movie, if you like the comic book, you will probably like the movie. And I would recommend it to you, especially because you're trying to learn French. So you can get most of the dialogues there. So you can see fantastic actors playing the characters, and you can hear the tone of voice. You can see the body language. You can see how they act, how they interact with each other, which is very important. And if you read the comic book first, you will understand the movie better, obviously.
Alors pardon, mais je pars pas je sais pas où pour balancer des torgnoles à je sais pas qui avec deux vieux.
Ça va chier!
Bon, venez.
I'm going to put the link to la bande-annonce. La bande-annonce is the French name for a movie trailer. And what I liked and I wanted to tell you more about in this movie is the actors. So first, Pierrot here is played by Pierre Richard, who is a fantastic, very, very, very famous French comic actor. He did other roles, but he's very, very famous for being very fun. And he has this role here again of a bit crazy, a bit... he forgets lots of things. He's blind as a bat, as I said. And he plays the same role over and over again all his career. And he's fantastic at it. And he's very famous for one movie especially. He's done lots of them, but I had to pick one. So I picked Le Grand Blond avec une chaussure noire. And when I think about this movie just now with you, I have the music coming to my mind. So check it out for the movie, for the acting, for the time as well, because that's an old movie. And you can see different kinds of French, different kinds of interactions between women and men. And it's very, very fun. It's a cult movie here in France. Everybody knows about it. So check Pierre Richard's career. He's done lots of fun movies. And because it's more like acting than play on words, you can learn and you can enjoy the movie even if you don't understand everything. This character, if you remember, is called Mimile, and he's played by a singer and actor called Eddie Mitchell. Eddie Mitchell, I don't know if you know Johnny Hallyday, but they're similar in their intention, as is they're the same age and Johnny Hallyday was, and Eddie Mitchell is a huge fan of American music. So he made lots of American music popular in the 70s and 60s, and he happens to be a very good actor as well. And one of his most famous songs, if you're a huge fan of him, just don't throw stones at me because I had to pick one song, is Couleur Mentalo. Couleur Mentalo it's a love song about someone who's disappointed in someone else. I'm not going to tell you more about that, so you can check out the song Couleur Mentalo, a super cute song by Eddie Mitchell. He's done loads more, obviously, but check this one out, and if you liked it, you can go and check other songs. Antoine here is played by another famous actor who's called Roland Giraud. Roland Giraud is mostly famous for one huge movie that my parents always tell me about. It's Trois hommes et un couffin. Trois hommes et un couffin. My mom, I think she watched it when she was pregnant with me, and she just doesn't stop talking about this one. So Trois hommes et un couffin is a super cute movie about three men who get a baby. I think the mom drops the baby just in front of the door, and she leaves because she can handle everything. And the three of them have to take care of the baby, raise her, and everything. And it's very, very cute. And it's not this kind of sexist, boring movie about men taking care of children in a bad way that just shows cliché. It's cute. It's fun. It's cute. And I think there was a remake in the US, but just watch this one because it's super nice. And I think it's on stage at the moment as well. So it's just like Le Grand Blanc avec une chaussure noire. Everybody knows about this movie, and it's worth watching. So watch the movie if you can. Read the comic book if you want. It's a great way to learn French again. And if you read the comic book first, you will understand the movie much better because they speak pretty fast. Et toi? Now I want to hear from you, and in French if you dare and if you can. So, présente-moi 3 mots que tu as appris dans cette leçon. Présente-moi 3 mots que tu as appris dans cette leçon. I'm helping you here because I highly encourage you to practice your French in the comments, even if you make lots of mistakes. If you don't feel like it, feel free to ask me questions in English or answer in English, but if you can, just try it. So here's an example. Bonjour Géraldine. It's always nice to greet people. Aujourd'hui, j'ai appris les mots suivants. Un costard, ça veut dire costume en argot. Veuf, c'est un homme qui a perdu sa femme. Une bande-annonce pour présenter un film. Okay? That's just an example. You have the word and you have what it means. So when you're writing this in the comments, it helps you to remember the meaning and put it in your brain properly so you don't forget tomorrow morning. If you want to put 5 words, feel free to put 5. If you want to put 2, feel free to put 2. It's just an example. So let's focus on 3 altogether. And if you make more, that's cool. Also, I want to make the comment area a very valuable place for all, so we can check other people's words and learn from them as well. So it's not just for you, it's for you and for all the other students as well. If you like this lesson on Les Vieux Fourneaux, the fantastic French comic book, please share this lesson with a Francophile friend. Just like it on YouTube, share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook, forward the email you got this morning. any way you like will be fantastic. So please, that will be very, very, very nice. If you want a more spoken French, like a real one, not fake textbook French, check out my 10-day everyday French crash course. It's a 10-day mini course by email. It's free, students love it. I've heard lots of good things about it. You can get it on my blog on communefrancaise.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will find the link below the video to the blog post, so you can get the free PDF of the lesson, and you will get access to the 10-day mini course as well, so you can subscribe. It's free, you just have to leave your first name and email and you will receive lesson 1 straight away. I wish you a fantastic day. Bonne journée. I hope you like this episode and I hope you have the opportunity to read this comic book. Allez, salut!